Hey everybody, it's Miss Enki with Boys and Girls Club, and today I'm going to show you a really cool experiment that you might be able to do at home that can help you regrow some vegetable plants. So I'm going to show you what you need for this activity and we'll get started. So particularly what we're going to work on regrowing today is a lettuce plant, so that way you can have lettuce that consistently grows at your house without having to grow from seed. So what you're going to need is a full lettuce plant. You need a whole plant that has like fully grown stalks, leaves, but most importantly that the base of your lettuce is still present and intact, because this is going to be the part that you regrow all of your plant from. You're going to need either some scissors or a knife, something that's going to be able to cut the remaining pieces of your lettuce off. You're going to need a cutting board as well as a small container with just a little bit of water on the inside. So I'm not going to completely cut apart my lettuce for the sake of this video, just because I have most of my lettuce still intact and I want to make sure it stays nice and fresh, but I will show you the product of a plant of one of the lettuce roots that I have been working on for the past couple weeks at the end of this video, and I'll walk you through how to do this. So what you would do is you're going to make sure that you clean all of your lettuce plant, make sure that it's been nicely rinsed and that there's not a lot of like dirt or mildew on it, so that way you have a really fresh starting base to grow from. Then you're going to take either your scissors or your knife and you're going to cut about 1 to 2 inches up from the base of your plant so that all of the leaves and stalks are off of the base, but you still have about 1 inch or 2 of the base intact. What you're also going to keep in mind when you're cutting up your plant is that you see all these little pieces that I have here that either have some dirt on them or have a little bit of like brown growing because it's starting to age a little bit. You're going to want to try and take some of those pieces off, just so that way you're growing from a really fresh like bottom source. But even though this part is a little bit of brown, that's the one thing that's going to stay intact no matter what color it looks like, because you want to make sure that you have a very strong foundation for your plant to grow from, so we're not going to cut it. Then, once you have your 1 to 2 inch of base, you're going to sit it inside of your container that you're only going to fill a little bit of the ways with water. As you can tell, it's very shallow, not very deep, and that's in order to keep your plant base in water without overwatering it, as you might say. And so once you've done that process, you would go ahead and leave it in front of a windowsill or someplace with an open light source, so that way it has access to sun. And after some time, it's going to look like the plants I have here. So this lettuce plant was one that I had started about maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, is how long they've been sitting in water. So in actuality, you should probably leave your plant base in water for about 5 to 7 days, and that's when you're going to start to see the little small sprouts of growth like these right here. And once it starts to grow looking like this, that's when you're really going to want to transfer it to soil. I kept mine out of the soil for a longer period so that I could experiment with this before actually putting it in the dirt and seeing what would happen if I didn't do that right away. But as you can see, it's starting to grow some stronger stalks. It's also starting to grow, these tiny little leaves in here that'll eventually become the lettuce leaves that you can eat. You put in salad, on sandwiches, things like that. But the cool thing is that I also planted 2 bases. So this came from the same plant, but I used the main base at the bottom, like the part that I was telling you about. And as you can see, it's starting to decompose on the sides, which is totally okay, because once you put it in soil, it's going to be fine. And this part actually sat in the middle, where this one also has, a nice strong base to it that it's growing from, and it's also started to sprout some roots, which are going to be perfect for when I put it in the soil, so that way I can go ahead and replant this with a very strong chance of this plant producing more strong stalks and leaves just like this. So hopefully you guys think this is a pretty cool idea, not only a great way to try and regrow some vegetables, but also save some money. And go ahead and try to do this plant regrowth experiment at home and see what kind of results you get. Have a good one, everyone.